Okay, this took me a really long time to figure out. That's why it was such a long time between videos. Next, we just made our loot. Now let's make some chests. Now we need a key and a chest. Let's do the key first. So for the key, I went to the dungeon props and I chose this key here, key 2. And then off of a pickup cube, I made this key. Now it's just a regular pickup with a static mesh. And then I put in my key here. And that's all it is. Now for the chest, this is a bit more complicated. First thing we need to do is pick out which chest we want. And there's more than one chest here available. But I chose to go with this one. You can see they have one where it's a version that's closed, one that's open, and then the 2 pieces. So we're going to start with this piece and this piece. And first off, to start this, all you need to do is go here, create a new blueprint, and then go by actor. Then once you open that, you can add these pieces in under the default root scene. And make sure you don't override the default root, because this has a wacky point on it and you need to be able to rotate accordingly for it. One thing to notice with this lid is the direction that it opens. And if I remember right on this one, it's the Y. So whenever you change this Y open, that's how you open and close the lid. You rotate it between 0 and 90. Pay attention to that. So a few other things to note. Let's come to here. And we need to go to our collision and I custom made one for all the walls. Let's slow this down. And note, there's no collision on the lock. Okay? Now, that lets us put stuff inside the box. Inside the box, I put a light in here. And I chose this nice little light green blue for the color. And then here on the box, I have a lock collision. Okay, still following me? And when we use that box collision, that lock collision, we're going to cast to that key that we made. And if we see that key, we're going to make sure that we do this over once. We're going to call an open chest function that we're going to make, and then we're going to destroy the key. Put that up for a moment. Now, let's go right to this open chest function. Starting here, we're going to create a custom event called open chest. And what's that going to do? Well, it's going to set this key here visible, which I already have. Here. So I have the key already here in the lock, ready in position. It's important to note that there is no collision. That's just a static mesh. And like I said, we have it set to under rendering not visible. However, when we open the chest, we're going to make that key visible. Then, after a delay, we're going to rotate the key. And for mine to make it rotate how I wanted it to, I have to set it to 0, -5, 70. Then I'm going to wait another second. Then I'm going to timeline open the lid. Let's look at that quick. So I got this timeline, and it starts at 0 and it goes to 1. That part is a little confusing for some people, but it goes from 0 to 1. And my value at 0 is 0. And my value at 1 is 2. Wait, what? I'm sorry, my value at time 2, it's a value of 1. So it takes 2 seconds to get to 1. So 2 and 1, 0 and 0. And then we hook that timeline up to the lid, and we're going to lerp from 0 to 90. And then we're going to plug that in to our Y value on our lid. So if you remember before, that's how we opened our lid. Now, after it has finished, there'll be another 1 second delay. And then this part gets a little complicated, but just follow me as best you can. We have a spawn count that we set at begin play. Now first off, I have this spawn treasure spot. Let's go to that. That's just an empty scene, and I position that a little bit center of the box. And and we're gonna set that spawn treasure point at the beginning of play. And then we have our spawn count 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to get a random value between 0 and 9 for that at the beginning of play. So now, if that value is 0, we're going to skip the loop and move on to the next one. If it's 0, it's going to skip to the next one. If it's 0, it's going to skip to the next one. If it's 0, it's going to skip to this one. If it's 0, then it's going to, for this one instance, it's going to fire one out. It's going to spawn a gem at the spawn point. This is my ruby. And if it 0 or hits 1, if it chooses 1, it will skip in this instance. Now, however, if it doesn't hit 0, then it's going to go to this loop. Oop. I think I got some dust or cat hair on my optical mouse here. Okay. So anyways, this is my silver piece. And based on this spawn count, it's going to spawn that many gems or silver pieces. But in order to do the correct number, we have to start at our index at 1 instead of 0. Otherwise, we're going to get 1 extra. So if it does any numbers, it's going to spawn that many treasures. This one, like I said, this is my silver piece. This is my gold. This is either I think this is the emerald. This is the sapphires. And then I only want to spawn up to 1 ruby or up to 1 diamond. Now, having to pick all this stuff up out of the bottom of the treasure chest is a huge pain in the ass and not really fun for the player. So I've created this auto loot function. And to start it off, I have created a box at the bottom of the treasure chest so that when the treasure falls into the treasure chest, it will automatically pick it up. So, if one of the pickup gems falls in, it's going to add the total to our SB total. It's going to set a text that's going to show up that's also going to show up once it detected that it started to get some loot. Let's take a look at that. So right here and here, I have another invisible thing here. Let's make it visible now. And this is where I put the total. And just for visual representation, I also put a giant coin back here, which I made no collision. So as soon as you start looting these coins that are going to be spawning and automatically falling in here, it's going to start building a total here. And at the same time that's happening, it's going to add the actual total to your character's loot total. And then it's going to update the stats and destroy the gem. Now that was a lot, but let's see it in action. Let me change these back to not visible. Alright. I just need to get Oculus going. Okay. Alright, I should be able to do my test. Let's take a look. Okay. So now here I got my character. Oh, it looks like I'm rendering. Here we go. Uh-oh. I'm getting attacked. Oh, yeah. Get that guy out of the way. Anyways. So. Now I can grab my key. And we stick it in the lock. It automatically opens. The chest opens. And now it starts spawning the treasure. And as you saw, as the treasure was being dropped into the chest, it automatically grabbed the loot. Now, one thing else I want to notice, let me actually stand up. You really want these chests to be waist high, because if you want to actually try to get the stuff inside of them, hold on, I need to be standing in a better spot to do this. In order to get the stuff, you need to be able to go like that. Well, anyways, now if you had to try to pick all that stuff up out of there, that would be a huge pain in the ass. So just note, you can put some stuff in the chest, but be conscious about how easy it is to actually get out of the chest. Now I got another chest set up. Click. Yay! And it added it to my total. That's it for that video. I'll see you in the next one.